Hey y'all, it is May Day 2020. Communist holiday, satanic holiday, I think. As far as I could tell right now, all heck is bursting loose. But also, I just woke up not too long ago, so I don't know exactly of the pressing matters on the day-to-day basis that we lots of times experience. It's very wild, exponential as far as the developments. I don't have to tell you. As of lately, it's exponential. It's liable to get any one of us all frazzled and really just jumping out of our skin or something like that if we let it. And, I know things happen, but I would suggest right now that we don't do that nobody does that. Right? To not get worked up, but instead to work it out. Or I don't know. I'm not sure how that phrase would go. The thing is, there's work to be put in. But as far as getting overwhelmed, I don't think it's a good bet. I really don't. This live stream I'm putting on because this live stream, the title of it is pretty much because I barely got myself to actually come on tonight and do the live stream. There's certain things that I guess we could talk about, and certainly I do want to touch base, but I noticed, like, for example, in my personal day that a lot of stuff was getting kind of put to the wayside. Like, there's stuff that needs to get organized. There's stuff in the garden. Like, the garden kind of took a hit a little bit today, not too big, but still, I don't like to neglect it. It was a little bit neglected today and different stuff. There's only so much time in the day for all the things that we want to get done, to include sleep. And I gotta let y'all know, my body sleeps perfectly fine, right? Which is a blessing, and I don't ever forget it. Blessings and curses and stuff, it's all for the better. But I do get good sleep, so I spend a lot of this time sleeping, like 6-7 hours, right? I don't know if that's a lot, but I like it and I enjoy it. And I think when I get up, it makes me feel a lot better when I've slept that much. I could get less sleep, and Lord knows I've done that before. You recall I had a job at IHOP, a second job. I wasn't getting no kind of sleep, and that was happening, but I wasn't feeling very good, right? And so there's a balance, right? There's many things to get done, and in my personal life, I am trying to get them all done at once. All right, so then comes in the live stream. I gotta let you know, I love the live stream. All right, if not for the one or two stragglers that comes in, I really appreciate it on many different levels. For example, it's like I can't exactly speak at great length with anybody in the world about all this sort of stuff, and they'll actually be listening the whole time. It's like, man, maybe there'll be one or two people, but I can't. They're busy as well. All right, so it's good to put it on recording on the internet. It's become ever so convenient, and that I can go on YouTube and I can get live interaction, right, from few different people, right, and it'll prove to be crucial, and it'll expand my mind, and I do appreciate it for those sorts of reasons, right. And then there's a recording, and people can enjoy it afterwards, and I enjoy that as well. And they get to see the live stream if they want to as well, to include the chat box. And on a technical, see, the thing is, I don't like to get very technical, but before I start off this broadcast, all right, and we are going to have probably a news blitz, all right, so look forward to that. There's different things and articles that, gosh, I do have to, I might share with y'all, but very well get us kicked off of YouTube, and I can understand why. Like, I gotta make sure that my age restrictions are fully implemented, but the thing is, it's not like R-rated, but it's really gross. Different various things that I could share with y'all today. It could be very gross. Before we get out of here, we're gonna try to make it like an hour-long broadcast. I want to elaborate on that a little bit later, but okay, there's all the benefits of the live stream, the interaction, the recording, this and that. We can get a little visual, sort of. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can't see me, and we can't have the live streams. We don't have that sort of technology, but we've already discussed this sort of things. These are the things that you get to know when you're trying to do a content, create a channel, or a live streaming type of platform, when you try to get on, these are the types of little technical difficulties that you might incur if you had to do it on a cell phone, which I do, right? I had to pay all sort of money in order to get the internet and stuff like that, put it on a little laptop and whatnot. And honestly, that's not too far off, but at the same time, all sort of calamity is spilling out very sincerely. Like, for example, they're putting meat restrictions on right now. That's not exactly a typical thing. All right. I'm trying to desperately to keep battery and stuff up in my phone, so there's those sort of technical difficulties. I forgot to plug it in when I was asleep. All right. And well, anyways, when it comes to live stream, that's awesome, and I want to keep doing it. All right. Perhaps I'll do it again here on YouTube. I probably will. I mean, you already know. Probably will, just because it's so convenient. But what I want to point out is this, and what I found out today, if I'm not mistaken, I found it out real hard, is I want to get onto, say, for example, I have an account on D Live. And so what I had to do is I had to go through a third party, all right? It's blowing some people's minds out there, but if you ever wanted to be a live streamer or a recorder out there, I went to D Live, and the thing is, to do on D Live, you got to have a third party application, I noticed. It's not necessarily like YouTube, or I mean, technically, yeah, on YouTube, I live stream on a third party as well. So it is kind of like YouTube, all right? But you had to have a third party application in order to get on, right? And what I'm noticing is, like, when it comes to D Live, I have this application to get me on D Live, but there is no, I repeat, no chat box, all right? And see, when there's no chat box, what that means is that I cannot interact. There is no interacting. And I don't know if that was done on purpose, but I'm pretty sure that it was done on purpose. As far as stifling people, you can't have a chat box. You just can't have a chat box. You can go on YouTube, have a chat box, right? And for that matter, if we're being fair, you could probably go on Facebook Live and have a chat box, right? And see it on your cell phone because you're not exactly balling out of control yet, all right? You don't have the internet set up, but you do have unlimited access on your cell phone. But, okay, so you can have a chat box on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken. You can have a chat box on Twitch, and I believe, well, wouldn't there be Periscope? I don't know. I don't know who's all on these different platforms, how populous they are and stuff. And of course, I could think about getting on one of these mainstream Facebook, Periscope, and stuff like that. I could think about that technically. All right, and then I'll get a chat box. It's all sort of work that goes into that, I guess. It's like kind of tedious. I know some people do it and like it's second nature, but I don't. And it's just like, I don't like doing all that messing around. I could do that, but at the same time, if I'm gonna go to one of those, why don't I just stay on YouTube until we get banned? All right. I mean, really, it's like, why do more work than I had to if I'm gonna get banned? Who's just to say I might get banned over there as well? I'm not sure how fast I'll get banned over there. All right, but certainly YouTube is banning everybody off of everything. If you haven't noticed that by now, you're never gonna notice it, and I don't even know how you found this channel. All right. YouTube is banning everything, and so it's just something that technically in the near future I'm gonna have to live with. Now, that being said, all right, things have been getting kind of neglected. For example, I don't mean to like complain or anything, but I haven't really worked out. I haven't exercised. I haven't got very much physical activity done. Thing is, I cut the crap out of my arm the other day. I cut it real bad. But you don't worry about it. The thing is, it wound up healing, all right? And so it's healed now, and I can exercise, but it's just like I didn't have the time. Technically, if I wanted to get on and touch base with y'all, which I do want to do, and let y'all know about these hair developments, that I didn't have time to do this and that. So it's like, oh, that's not good. It's becoming tedious. Like earlier, oh man, I don't want to run out of battery. All right, I gotta watch my battery real close. Shout out to the person up in the building. I see you. All right, I depend on you. You're like oxygen to me. I don't mean to scare you off, but anyways, we're just kind of hanging tight, watching the battery, making sure the battery doesn't run out. Plus, I have some solutions to that if it does. We're gonna do like an hour long live stream. We're gonna have a news blitz. Hey, we're gonna look at strange things if you want to. If you really want to, we can look at just wild, strange things. We can get that lined up, and we got that. But I also wanted to go and talk about this format. For example, I love doing the live stream because people show up, and I love their input, and it really makes me grow and expand, and I appreciate that. But I was realizing, long story short, what I was explaining earlier is that it's real hard to get, say, on D Live, for example, if you want a chat box. See, YouTube, I can see when you put chats up. I can see the chats. And so that's crucial. If I want to do that on D Live, I can do that. But I would have to, it seems to me, I would have to pay one of these third party applications money in order to do that. That's like one of their extra special features. Yeah, you can go on YouTube and have a chat box, sure. Yeah, you can go on Twitch and have a chat box, Periscope probably. I don't know about all these things, but yeah, you can go on Facebook and have a chat box. But not on D Live, or else you gotta pay money. That's extra features. And honestly, it's not a crippling amount of money. But for example, like DU Recorder, they were like, hey, we'll give you a 30-day free trial. Doesn't that sound nice? And then you can get on D Live, maybe have a chat box. I'm like, oh, damn, dude, I want a chat box. And they were like, well, but after the 30-day trial, we're going to have to charge you that $60, all right? That's an annual fee, so really that's nothing as far as the year goes. But right now, to get all the $60 from me right now, I don't like the idea of that right now. You know what I mean? So that's what's actually getting in the way between me going on D Live, from what I understand, from what I found out. And maybe there's other applications. Lord knows there's dozens and dozens of applications out there. I don't have all this time because it cuts into my other time for sleeping, for cleaning, for organizing, for cooking, for working, for doing all these gardening. All right? It cuts into my other time. All right? So what I was thinking is from here, I mean, it's like I know there's a lot of people who are regular probably come through and they like it when I'm regular. I want to be regular on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. All right. In fact, dude, honestly, if I were to be honest with you, probably could be regular every single day if I really wanted to. But just on YouTube, on live streaming stuff, that it becomes more complicated. I was thinking to myself, so many developments, and it's not like it's overwhelming to me. Honestly, I could just let it spill out. It's really of no effort to me to just sit and say words out of my mouth that I really honestly don't think about before they just appear there. It's like I could do that for an hour every day, all day, every day if I wanted to. Maybe 2 times a day sometimes. But it's the idea of clicking these certain buttons, and I want to drive that home. I don't know if y'all experience that out there. You got to go and you got to click buttons, and then you got to click other buttons, and you got to type in titles, and they're going to be like, oh, that's good. You want to publish this? And you got to click that button. And then that takes a couple minutes, and it's like, oh, God, dude, this is taking 4, 5, 10 minutes to do these things. And I know that they're crucial and people appreciate it. And, you know what I'm saying? I already have these thoughts going through the head anyways. So it's like, I might as well share it. But the thing is, that is the hard part. All right. And so with that being said, we might even adjust to different formats. Lord knows, basically, this is a radio show. Basically, I mean, you can see the visuals. Lord knows we see wild, crazy things, but technically I could have a radio show. And that would, for example, it would make it a smaller file size, right? And then I would be able to upload it faster, you would think, hypothetically. And I wouldn't have to sit at the phone. Like, for example, if I were to record, if it wasn't on a live stream, I was to record visual and audio and stuff, and to upload that, it's going to take forever. If it was an hour, it would take forever. But if I did a radio show, technically speaking, it was an audio file, and that was an hour long, and I uploaded that, it would be like no time at all. And it would be very streamlined. And perhaps we would all benefit from that. And when I say we all, I mean me especially, because I do want to give feedback. Ultimately, we get some technology up under us. If that is the case, well, we'll be able to live stream, split stream. It's going to be all about y'all because I need it to be about y'all. I want to hear from y'all, all right? And I'll keep an eye on the comment section, all right? And I got to keep an eye on my battery. Hey, give me 1 second. I got to plug this thing in. Oh, all right, I'm back. But okay, here's the number one most crucial thing that I think we'd have to keep in mind right now. And I also had to preface and say that I got it from Alex Jones for all the people who hate on Alex Jones. Oh, yeah, he's a fake. Oh, he works for this and that. He's a beast monster. But here's the thing, he's touching upon exactly what is I want to touch upon, and I find to be the most crucial thing that we could think about if we were going to just narrow it down and really, really get to the nitty gritty right now. What I've been kind of alluding to, and Alex Jones was talking about it to no end today, is right now the world is in turmoil, right? You go to different countries all around the globe or all around the flat earth, and you go to different countries and they're having different conflicts, right? It's bursting out all over the seams, and there's different variations to be sure. All right, and it's different extents. Like for example, I know that we don't feel it so hard in America as y'all might feel the heat in other different countries, and I've known that, and I can appreciate that. In fact, I think of my lucky stars for example, about that, and it's like, dude, I never forget that. All right, okay. So with that in mind, with all this conflict and all this shutdown and all this malarkey and all this unprecedented actions, by the way, with all this going on, America's about to eat it real hard, and we're already getting a taste of it. We're already getting a taste of it. For example, meat limitations, like I said, like everybody else said on the internet right here. We all said it. We all said it at the same time. There's going to be all sort of shortages, and they're coming up. And people pointed me out to different other people. God bless all the contributors on here. Every time if you get on and you just give me a link or something, just 1 second out of your week or out of your month, for example, last time is supposed to be crucial. And I know, for example, that the food industry is really, no matter how much Donald Trump is trying to be a salesman, and he's really good at it, it's still up in arms. It's still, I mean, it's up in the air. It's blowing in the wind right now, basically. The food industry, when you're talking about macro agriculture, you're talking about this sort of stuff, like big, big farms, they're suffering. And there's a lot of people feel a lot of different ways, their opinions about those big, big farms. Those big, big farms are providing food for not later on in the future, for this year, right? And a lot of them are messing up, and they're having to mess up. And a lot of people are very confused about it, because I talk to people who are very confused about it, and it's called the food supply chain. And as it turns out, most of this food that comes from their farm to your belly, you know what I'm saying, that takes a lot of different twists and turns, and you wouldn't believe, but like 4 or 5 different people it goes through. I mean, it's a whole system and network. It's called a food supply chain, and it's actually been well documented for I don't even know how long. All right, so it becomes more complicated, and a lot of people would say, well, that's detrimental, and it's actually coming to bite us in the butt right now. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree that is what's happening. It's actually very crucial too, in a lot of senses, and some, because a lot of people don't know about food supply chain, but a lot of people here on the internet, they already understand that there's not only the food supply chain when it comes to America, but at the same time, there's that nobody operates in a vacuum, and a lot of these third world countries actually depend on us. And that's the reason why America first and America's the greatest, and also and I won't ever shut up about it. You know what I'm saying? That is what it is, but everybody else kind of should acknowledge that. And people all across the world do, all right? A lot of people like pay attention to our politics, and it blows my mind. Because until I got a little bit older, I never paid attention to anybody else's politics. Like, I couldn't imagine doing so. And just being from America, it's a weird mindset. All right. But see, in a lot of ways, we're the spearhead. Like, we're the tippy top, we're the cream of the crop in a lot of ways. But at the same time, we're in America, and everybody knows it. It's like we're some of the most corrupt people. All right, and just wild and twisted. And a lot of people don't even understand it. Shoot, we can't even show most of it here on the internet. On YouTube, we can only show like little bits and pieces of their perversion, and it's really disgusting. And we all buy into it. We all buy into their damn culture until we grow up and we realize, oh man, we're being taken right into Satan's warm embrace. right into the breast of Satan. And these MNFers, they're just running around and doing all sort of corrupt stuff, and they think we don't know about it. No, yeah, we got a taste of your world, and we do know about it. We do know exactly where it's going. But okay, the big idea that I want to take away for tonight is okay. America, for example, we set the standard sometimes, lots of times, as far as freedom goes. Like some countries don't even know what freedom is. They never even heard of that until they hear about America, and they're like, "What is this that they got going on over there?" And then they start clamoring for that sort of stuff. And sometimes there's progress off of that. That's the only way that America can, quote, export democracy. It's the only way it's ever worked is if people take our example. And if, in fact, we do have freedoms and liberties. Right now, they're all being stripped away and stuff right in front of our eyes. So that's not good. It sets the example for other countries that all their rights get stripped away and stuff, and there's not a mumbling thing they could do about it. If America's not standing up, then of course, why are they going to stand up? Doesn't make any sense, right? But that works on a lot of different levels to include the food level, which a lot of people don't know about it, and I certainly don't even know about. When it comes to these big quantities of food, trust me, like the third world, lots of these third world countries, they not only need money, and we give them all this money, and we call it aid, foreign aid, but also I believe they give food and medicine. All right, so what happens when we're having an extreme shortage? Like, what happens when we're very inconvenienced in America? What could you imagine? What would be your guess what would happen if we have all sort of extreme meat limitations and everything's in a shortage here in America? That means everything's in extreme shortage when it comes to those foreign aids. All right, and disastrous. And the thing is, from what I understand, and Alex Jones was bringing it up. All right, and if he didn't bring it up, I would have brought it up anyways, because I've been hearing about this sort of stuff. Is okay. Not only are people going to die, and first of all, people die, and they've been dying because our system's not exactly adequate. All right, we've seen the faults in our system, so people have been dying. When it comes to these third world countries, especially, and it's a lot of times through malnutrition. They're malnourished. All right, in a sense that sometimes they come across food, but it's just not enough. Like if you can imagine a lifestyle, and some people can't up in the first world. I know I can't really. I mean, I really can't really. I can sort of imagine, but not really. Could you imagine living to where you're constantly, you might get some food, but you're always hungry, always, because you never get enough food, and you're always thirsty. Because you might get some clean water, but there's never enough clean water. I mean, we got like bounties of clean water. I can get clean water by the gallons and gallons from where I'm at, and they can't. They're always thirsty. All right, so these people wind up dying from this and that, either hunger or like some sort of cough and cold that wind up just fall over and die, or they get malaria up in Africa and they wind up dying, and it's terrible. It's terrible. That's been happening at a certain click, and I don't mean to downplay it, but everybody was just living their life when it was happening. And certain people were thinking about it, but not everybody was thinking about it. And so there were people dying, sure, but now there's more people dying, to be sure. All right. I don't think I have to draw you a picture of how that works. More people are dying, more people are going to die. So it's exponential, basically, is what probably you're looking at the longer things go on, the day by day of the lockdown. Now, today in San Antonio, I haven't been out much, but apparently we're going through the next phase of the lockdowns where we're easing up and we're getting the economy back on board. We're going to find out. I'm not sure what to expect here in San Antonio. I know it's going to be a lot of rule bending and stuff like that, but we're going to see about this economy because Lord knows people are going to stand in the way of us getting back up. Now, that's because they're so scared about this coronavirus, which I know everybody's sick and tired of at this point. A pun not intended, but very tired of it, very fatigued by it. And meanwhile, we're realizing all this data, we're all collating the data. And we're looking at it and we're seeing certain things and we're saying, maybe we should open up right now and get the government out of our damn face and trying to lock us down. Because not only are we going to be inconvenienced, and when I say inconvenienced, I mean like crime is going to skyrocket by design. You know, it's so wild how the developments have kind of like, for example, they let out like all these prisoners, quote, nonviolent uh, They let them all out, and now they got nothing to do besides commit crimes. All right, I don't know what else they're gonna do. Can they get jobs and stuff? You're trying to stifle down and there seems to be all sort of fraud, for example. And we don't have time to get into all these details, but all sort of fraud to include pumping up the numbers. Can you understand that most of these are happening in New York and stuff, and all these Democratic strongholds in Michigan and stuff, where they're pumping up the numbers like you wouldn't believe. All right. So, I mean, although people would die and people are pretty unhealthy in America, yeah, that's something to think about. Yeah, but people been dying of the flu and all this sort of stuff. So get over it. Thing is, the government, it's not about our safety. They're not so worried like an old Jewish mom. They're wanting to destroy us, right? Not only destroy us, put a hurting on us that we inevitably, honestly, we stand to come back from. For example, that wouldn't destroy us, but however, we would be weakened, and then from there on, they would seek to enslave us, take away all our guns, isn't it? Isn't that the whole point? But it's very inconvenient for us in the short term. It's absolutely devastating to people in the third world on the short term. Devastating. So many people are going to die. Every single day that they squeeze us like an anaconda on the economy, these third world people are going to die. Mountains of them. There's a lot of people out there who love to say certain words to include like population control, right? For example, or like whatever that's going to happen in their own country, and we're not worried about it. Uh, those people obviously don't understand the situation in which we're facing, in which it's not like, oh, us against them. We are them, all right? And what we're allowing for them is absolutely it's going to happen to us, and we would be asking for it. But meanwhile, I believe I'm here over the here focus, and I know a lot of people out there focus on them too as well. We cannot just let them die. Not only we have to stand up for ourselves and our progeny, and the fact is that they may, so that they may have rights and freedoms. But people on parts of the world that we don't see are just keeling over and dying all over the place. That much could probably be guaranteed. All right. I don't know if you want to fact check me on that. Dang, we've been getting all sort of comments. We got General Shepard up in the building. I appreciate y'all. Alex Jones, Bandot Video. All right. All day, every day, Roger Stone, Michael Flynn. They're all innocent. Nicholas Cruz, by the way, as far as I can understand, is innocent. All right. But he's going to be up in the jail forever. And there's all sort of people up in the jails forever. And they're going to try to stuff us up in the jails forever for getting out of these quarantines. They're going to say, oh, we're going to give you $1,000 fine. Oh, and we might just wrestle you to the ground and put you in a police car. You're acting belligerent. You're acting belligerent. Please cooperate. Instead, they'll put you in the back of the paddy wagon, stuff you in there, and say, "Oh man, you weren't following COVID regulations and stuff." Meanwhile, there ain't no law to it, not at all. And General Shepard says some stuff. He says, "Y'all, please subscribe to his new channel," and I would stress that. And I saw actually General Shepard JoJo the other day, and he put up a video, and he was saying stuff like, "Oh man, they're really coming down hard." And I know Bart Fine out there, he could attest to that, hopefully, whether or not they're really, really coming down on hard. Now, here's the thing. On the face of it, like I said, with these doctors that we all know, all right, all these doctors came out and said, you were doing this and that wrong, and you're killing people. People's lives are at risk. And they've been deleted off of YouTube. So on the face, dude, obviously ran by Nazis. But behind the scenes, it seems as though the General Shepherds are being very much even more, they're getting their genitalia twisted even harder. It says, please subscribe to the new channel. And I would have to stress that, yeah, I mean, you type in General Shepherd, you should be able to find it. But sometimes I've noticed, I type in General Shepherd and the channel didn't just pop right up. Not at all. Had all this different stuff about Call of Duty or whatever. And Okay, so if that happens, my suggestion is just type in all sort of keywords, whatever you can think of. Type in Owen Schroyer, type in David Knight, type in obviously Alex Jones, type in whoever, Millie Weaver and stuff, and type in all sort of names, and eventually you're gonna get to a name, and a video is gonna pop up. And say like if it doesn't pop up or it's all negative videos, what you do is you go to the filter and you filter out and find out only what's been uploaded today. You filter out everything but today, what's been uploaded, put in the keywords, and your video is probably going to pop right up. From there, you're going to find the channel and you'll be able to subscribe. There's nothing YouTube can do to stop you, no matter how hard and how hateful that they are. Dirty, dirty Nazis. And I mean that in the worst kind of way. I wish no ill will upon anybody at all. But Bart Fine is a schizophrenic. That's what I heard. And he actually does need to be stopped. Now, come to think of it, I don't know how we're going to stop him, but YouTube has a plan. Bangkok Airport is closed for 6 months. I don't even know what that means. Okay, so Bangkok Airport, that's closed for 6 months. Maybe we'll get some elaboration on that because obviously it's going to tie into the COVID. How much is it going to be perhaps even devastating to not getting stuff imported into Bangkok and stuff? I'm not sure. I would like to know. General Chef said, I lived in Manila slum for 1 month in 2014. Dang. I like to harken back to about 2014 and think, what was I doing in 2014? You know, Dan, to be honest, yeah, I was like on the rocks too, man. 2014 was a rough year, dude. Oh, man, that became rough. That's when like everything fell apart, was actually in 2014. A little bit around there. So that's kind of interesting. Man, that's a weird personal thing. But you're over there living in a Manila slum. You're all slumming it up in Manila. And I was over there just losing everything and just kind of like being reborn again after a while. Interesting year, 2014. And God, we got all sort of comments, dude. Oh, man. General Shefferton had some turbo for us earlier, and he says the government never cared if I got the black clap in Vietnam. Of course they didn't care. They didn't care nothing about it. Talking about your safety, oh, they're so concerned about your safety. Meanwhile, they had their little cohorts having all sort of orgies up in hotel rooms with the, who knows, God knows what, and all sort of, crystal meth smoking and all this. Do you think they care about your safety? Of course they don't care about your black clap all in Vietnam. Not even a little bit. Thailand is shut down. Gosh, dude, I'm thinking about all these. I mean, I don't even know why they say first world and third world as though there's not a second world or whatever. I don't know if you would call that developing nations. I don't know if you would call Thailand a developing nation. But, I mean, just shout out to everybody around the world. Would be it a globe or a flat globe or a flat disc. Honestly. It seems as though they're shutting all sort of stuff down and everybody's going to bite the high hard one. And honestly, although it's going to look unprecedented and it's going to look absolutely like a nightmare here in America, before the year is out, in lots of instances, there's still going to be pockets of calm and there's still going to be people acting somewhat courteous. And some of these other countries, it might get a little bit hectic. And Lord knows, I've heard wild stories of hectic things. I don't know that we can even share them. They're so wild here on YouTube. But things do definitely come to mind. We might go through a news blitz right now and stuff. I think we're ready for it. We got 4 people up in the building. Are y'all ready for that news blitz? But the thing is, I want to hear about this. General Shepard, I want to hear about this real quick. General Shepard said, I had to go. See, this is the benefits of the chat box. If I go somewhere else without a chat box, the whole stream is ruined. And that's why I haven't gone nowhere else. And it's a damn shame. And yeah, I know I could go to Facebook, Twitch, Periscope, this and that and stuff, and maybe get a chat box, all right? And yeah, I know I can pay money and stuff, man. I don't got all sort of money. We got to be very careful with our money. I've always, but even more right now, especially careful with what you do. And I would suggest to do something quick, but be very careful with it. General Shepard said, I had to go to the USA Embassy to get out of the Philippines. When was this? Wasn't this a while back? I mean, this ain't recently, is it? All right, because if you're over there, I know all sort of calamities spilling out. I don't know exactly what's happening. What isn't shut down over there in Asia? But that sounds crazy. Wuhan virus is an excuse for Thailand to expel Westerners. What? Oh my gosh, dude. Okay, so 2014. Okay, all right. So it's not exactly breaking news, but I mean, it's not exactly old news. So, but the thing is, the last thing is what caught my eye. When you said Wuhan virus is an excuse for Thailand to expel Westerners, obviously it wasn't Thailand. I wouldn't put it. I wouldn't imagine that it was Thailand who orchestrated this whole Wuhan virus thing. But I think what you're insinuating is that they're taking advantage of it. They're taking advantage of this particular situation to purge themselves of Westerners. And if that's the case, Philippines is under martial law. I can imagine what we're experiencing here in America. All while I might sound frazzled to certain people, they might say, "Oh, you're overthinking a bit." I don't think I'm overthinking it. It's about to get wild and nuts, crazy nutballs up in America, but at the same time, it's worse in other places. All right, shout out to other places. General Shepard said I could make a movie about my life from the Philippines, man. I do not doubt it, obviously, and you would have to be your own narrator, all right? For the movie. Hopefully that does get done. But I mean, it goes to show you. For example, I mean, it's just came to mind when you think about it. Bar Fine obviously is very entertaining, but when you think about people who are less entertaining, and there's so many people out there, they still have very entertaining stories, at least at one point, maybe one era in their life in which you can make a movie about it. It would be like a Disney movie. It would be like against all odds, doesn't make sense, and it actually happened. It is a miracle. Can't even believe it. Like the Mighty Ducks and stuff. Like this is ridiculous. Like Cool Runnings, which by the way was not real. Cool Runnings. There was a Jamaican bobsled team, but nobody was racist. I'm saying that people do go through some stuff, man, and most of the stories by the billions when you think about it. The celebrity lifestyle has become just so disgusting. Meanwhile, for example, the bulk of the celebrity lifestyle is out there when you see their face on the internet. They are vouching for the communist people of China, not the people, but the government, right? They're, making excuses for it. They're distracting from it. Meanwhile, they're owned by the Communist Party of China, and everybody knows it, right? They're slippery and they're slimy and they're disgusting. And they've actually sold themselves out, and they've admitted to selling themselves out, but not only that, we got just endless proof now. And only so recently have we come across this proof that their lifestyles are of the most disgusting and regretful nature, basically. All right. And they're working for these disgusting and so they're okay, so they're working for those people. But for example, they get all this money, right? And supposedly that's organic. Okay, let's say it is. Partly. I mean, there's all sort of actresses who find themselves on boats with dudes from Middle Arabia, what I'm saying, breaking themselves off in very literal ways. Actresses and celebrities, they don't want to admit it, but they're on million dollar yachts doing God knows what and stuff in the middle of the ocean. No, I didn't make that up. Alright? They're disgusting people, but they sold themselves out. And they're always feeling bad, and that's why they always have to be on these drugs. You know what I'm saying? And they're very promoting of drugs. But okay, they got supposed stories. Oh, they're entertaining. Oh, they're so interesting. We're gonna put them all in magazines. Meanwhile, hell no, dude. And when you think about it, when you think about, for example, they say it was 7 billion people on the earth. I'm willing to bet you that at least 6 billion of those people, and I would say 7 billion, have stories that are amazing. It's like that we should focus on. When you think about the difference between 500 celebrities in America that people clamor over, and the fact is there's billions of people whose story very well should be told. You know what I'm saying? It's over the top, absurd why we would even listen to a mumbling damn word. And trust me, I'm not. But I wonder about people who might still be looking at these people like, oh, they're so pretty. They're not that pretty. General Shepard says my first hooker only cost me $15 in 2007. That's to give you an idea of the inflation. I don't know actually if it's even that much more in 2020. We don't really discuss those topics too often here on this broadcast, but it's something to contemplate. Because that's definitely part of the economy. That's one of the most organic parts of the economy. It's like hard to regulate, to be honest. So $15 back in 2007, that was like 2 or 3 lifetimes ago for some people, right? 2000 or 2003. Man, what numbers? 2003 and 2007. Oh, okay. It was just okay. So that takes us. See, that's even more farther back. And you can imagine inflation's at least been on a steady increase, if not sometimes just really jumping up there. So 2003 is even, see, it's incredible to think, man. It's incredible to think. Me and Barfine know exactly what I'm talking about when we talk about the 90s. We say, oh man, the 90s. Hey, you remember this thing that's happening in the early 90s? And then when you like step back and think about it, the early 90s, that was like 30 years ago or some stuff. 30 years ago? What? And then you think about 2003, like, oh, 2003 just happened, right? And then you remember it's 2020. It's like, oh God. But it's that much time. And certainly inflation has been hitting the world. How much has it been hitting the world of prostitution? We're here to get the inside info on that. We don't call them hookers. We call them bar girls. Well, you're the one that called them hookers. What the hell? It's not like I was going around here calling them hookers. I see, there's the proof. You were calling them hookers. So you say we don't. Why? Because you have more respect. All right? You call them hookers down there. All right, but we're going to get to the bottom of this. I want to know about the inflation. I don't know if you got recent information as far as that's going, or even more on a general scale as far as people might be suffering in general in, say, these Asian countries and stuff. We might look into it, all right? I don't know if we should have a news blitz and stuff. Lately, I've been going to Google, right? And it's been very disappointing, actually, and stuff. So we might breeze through it like a 5-minute segment. It's been very disappointing here on Google. What's open in San Antonio? I don't even want to hear about all that sort of stuff. Phil Labonte is challenging Chris Taylor Brown from Trapped to a bare knuckle boxing match or something. I don't know if they're gonna have a singing competition. Who cares about that? But look, check this out. And we had this broadcast the other day, so we're more breaking. Obviously, these people have to catch up all the time. We already talked about this the other day. The Independent. Oh man, you're so quick. You got it 6 hours ago. Oh man, gosh, y'all are Johnny on the spot, dude. We talked about this days ago. Alex Jones says he'd kill and cook his. I can't even say it without just kind of laughing. In fact, I got some stuff that I could share with y'all that's very similar. All right, I don't know if y'all want to go down this rabbit hole, but we found ourselves down this rabbit hole. And if there's nothing more interesting on the News Blitz, we're going to continue down this rabbit hole. See, Independent is trying to catch up to me, and he's trying to catch up to you. We've already known about it. Me and Angela have discussed this already at great length. And the Independent only 6 hours ago puts out Alex Jones says that he'd kill and cook his neighbors and feed his kids to his neighbors. Yeah, of course he said that. All right, and I already showed you the clip a couple of days ago, and that was his face, dude. He, for all I know, he was dead serious about it. And I don't discount that. Meanwhile, he didn't say what neighbors. He wasn't. He was just saying in the scenario. Obviously, we're not in that scenario. Can I call you? See, this is the problem. Oh, man, there's so many technical difficulties. I want to get you on a dang live stream. No matter whether like you'd have to show your face or not, that doesn't matter. I would love to get you on this live stream. And not only you, but everybody else, man. Whoever's in the dang thing can jump on the live stream right now. That's what I want. I want it so bad. All right. But what I've experienced, is that you need basically a laptop set up. I can get that set up and stuff, but I need to get the second business. In fact, the second business should be up and running due before, I'm talking about in weeks, because we're dealing with springtime and just getting up at the right exact time to start selling and making some money. And if I make enough money, perhaps, get this stuff laid out. But here's what I want to explain. I want to get that live stream to get up because remember back when we did that phone call a long time ago? Me and Bart Fine, actually, the legend, international legend. Type in Bart Fine on YouTube or type in General Shepard or type in any one of the InfoWars people and put in a filter, and you're going to be able to find this guy's putting in work. Hopefully you'll be able to find it. But Okay, we had a phone call a long time ago on the broadcast, which I thought went by pretty dang good. In fact, I loved it, the conversation, and that's the kind of conversations we need to have, like on the daily. Oh, geez. Let's see. I don't know what's the delay on the dang internet. I don't like to decline people, but I had to decline it because it's very loud. I'm sorry if that blew up people's ears, but okay. I don't like. See, there might be a delay, but what I had to explain is we took the phone call. I don't know if Barfine can hear me because he's probably trying to call me. But if Barfine can hear me, see, we took that phone call a long time ago. It was a great conversation, and it's a lot to it was a lot to be taken away. I think it was golden for people to hear. But then I went back on the recording and I noticed if it's an actual phone call and I'm live streaming, if it's an actual phone call coming to my phone and I'm live streaming, it's going to be like at a slight tiny whisper. The recording is not going to come in. And from what I can understand, the live streamers wouldn't be able to even hear it. It would just be us having a conversation and nobody, you would hear like just the slightest of whispers. And it's like, dude, I mean, that can't be more annoying. We do need to get on though. Like, for example, gosh, we need to work out the time. Okay. But now that we're doing this impromptu, if you can hear me, bar fine, or check it out on the recording or something, I want to put across that we do need to have these conversations. The technical difficulties of doing it while live streaming are kind of whack right now, and it's very infuriating if you let it get to that. I try not to think about that, but that's why it's like I gotta put it on the back burner for right now. But for example, I think we can have conference calls and stuff where we're doing that, and I could even record it probably and then upload it to the internet, and that would be crucial for people. People would enjoy that as well. So perhaps even tomorrow, what's tomorrow, Saturday, or any day that's good for you. Maybe we can line up in a lot of time where we get down to the nitty gritty, and unfortunately, it can't be live. Unfortunately, it's from what I'm understanding. As far as my technical difficulties go. Now, however, I'd be willing to get on people's live streams, and I've done that, in which they can because they had the technology, and it's really messed up. I know. But Unwrapped by Brenda says, "Dang, I was looking forward to the live stream and nearly missed it. I nearly didn't even put it on, Brenda." So all sort of stars had to come into a position for this to even happen right now tonight. And I just want to put out there that there's different solutions that we need to get to, and I'm going to try and be very clear in the communication of what it is, the restrictions that we have as far as the solutions, as far as getting to the nitty gritty every single day, not getting frazzled, but staying focused and staying centered and staying balanced and staying sane. Although all sort of calamities spilling out, which it will do, we need to get our economy going, and I mean yesterday. And so, okay, use another phone line. I can't use another phone line. See, Bart Fine, he's taking advantage of certain things, and he explained to me a while back how actually he orchestrates his business for the most part. And it's a good idea. It's a really good idea. And then and so that does give me a kind of idea. And in that, technically, I could get a cheap throwaway phone and use a cheap line in order to orchestrate phone calls, all while having this phone over here do the live stream, so that way it's not doing two things at once. And that is a cheap solution. I would agree. And it's like I want to do it. I want to do it. All right. At the same time, we're focusing so hard on money right now. Right. For example, on a personal level, like this business that I got kind of like it's about to get, I want to get it up. I want to get it up for sure because that business will mean more money in my pocket, which will mean, more money for these sort of things. I want to do it. I want to do it. All right. But in the meantime, I'm afraid that we're going to have to figure out these different solutions. And I do want to get y'all's voices. And if not, your dang split screens and stuff. I want to get y'all up on here. And we need to get to the nitty gritty. And we're just like, it's like right there. It's right there. I can almost taste it. But it's not there yet. And it's like terrible that's what it is. Anyways, General Sheffer says track phone is 20. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And I don't know if people feel me out there. All right, but I'm going to put myself out there. $20 is not exactly something I give up very easily. Right? I don't know. It's not to say I'm anxious about it, but it's something that's like, oh man, I gotta really think about it before I put $20, an extra $20. That is to say that I'm not exactly balling out of control. And then not only that, you got that whatever $20 a month on top of that, and that would sign me on to things that, in this economic situation, I don't know. I don't know if I'll have that money. I don't know if I have that money. And in my experience, when you don't have that money, they'll take it anyways. And then, okay, I got a message. And then they'll find you more money, in which I don't have. It's like, oh man, I gotta really watch myself about that. All right, I don't mean to make this a personal broadcast. We are gonna talk about eating people or something like that. We got Big Paul up in the building. Dang, I can hardly even keep up with these comments, man. God bless y'all. I can hardly even keep up with them. Who are all these people? Dang it. Make sure robots inspire me to breed and okay, breed. Ah, dang it. What is it saying? Make sure robots inspire me to breed the family and breed freely. I'd agree. I don't know what you're saying right there. Swampy McGee. But shout out to Swampy McGee. Shout out to everyone in this building. You're distracting the crap out of me at this point. But breathe freely. I would say breathe freely. I don't know what the heck this was in regards to. General Sheriff says track phone. That's true. That is a solution. It is not exactly impossible. I gotta give myself some time to do it. I gotta do it. Maybe get this phone. See, I wonder if, okay, Forex, there's so many factors that come in, and like this is the world. I don't know if there's other content creators out there who might want to chime in and stuff. But this is some of the complications like, okay, yeah, I could get this track phone. I could sign on to this track phone. Or you could double that payment if possible and actually get internet hooked up into my dang, my apartment right here. And then really be on something and really and not only be dealing with a cell phone, but be dealing with maybe perhaps a laptop situation. And wouldn't that be even better? Oh man, you gotta really these, but it would, okay. So that might take longer. So the more quicker solution, which might be even better, is to get that track phone. It's something that I gotta throw back and forth in my head. All right, but I will have answers to that very soon, and I'll be thinking about it over here on this particular weekend. All right, different solutions which may not amount to this live stream as regularly. I want it to be regular, but we got a time constraints here. So Big Paul says, I just watched a program on TV about the suitcase killer, and it happened in Lubbock, Texas. Rosenda Rodriguez killed a girl and put her body in a suitcase. He was executed in 2018. It sounds vaguely familiar, right? I can't say it was the first time ever done in Texas. That sounds wild. It's kind of interesting that you brought that up. And it's interesting that we're on this tip, and we're looking at Alex Jones on his face, if you are, in fact, looking at the screen. And there's Alex Jones, and he's talking about, he is talking about killing his neighbors. He is talking about that, and they wanted to give him the business over that. They're going to call him a terrorist and all sort of crazy. All right. And so he's talking about Rosendo Rodriguez put someone in a suitcase, probably, I would assume, chopped him up, or I guess just stuffed him in there. And he's executed in 2018. It's a lot of wild, crazy stuff that goes on, especially in Texas. More to the point, especially in freaking South Florida, it's damn wild. But it's like so wild that if you were to mention these sort of things to the majority of people, I would say 96 or 7% of people, they would not be able to compute it. Not be able to compute it. It's something that does not exist. Oh, you're making it up. Meanwhile, it actually it isn't a populace. Like most of these people who wouldn't believe it are actually partaking in wild and crazy behaviors that are being swept under the rug. And we might go over a couple before we get out of here. In fact, I got some that really caught my eye earlier. Zyokon Comedy wants your red blue DNA. Damn. That is a bombshell, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what it means. I'm still trying to figure out Swampy McGee's codes and stuff, but I can infer, I guess, what it means. They want my DNA. I don't know. Okay. General Chef, I'm interested. I really do want to find out. I just don't know how to elaborate on it. Could this be an accusation towards Israel and Zionism? And I believe like Zionism is also an American thing or something. I don't know. Anyways, General Shepard says, I do want elaboration on it, by the way, but I don't know what to say about it. Use the phone, make a new YouTube channel. Oh, gosh, dude. I feel you. I feel you. At the same time, when I say that, I don't even have enough time, for example, to make a proper meal or, like, clean my clothes. I want to make time for this. But at the same time, also, what I got to point out, although we're on the internet, and I do want to point this out because I think that is crucial, is that we could get sucked into the internet. Imagine me, like getting all this stuff and dedicating all this time to it, which is awesome. But at the same time, all sort of calamities spilling out all around me in the real world that doesn't have nothing to do with the screens, and frankly, it doesn't have nothing to do with the airways. People all around me, and it's like all this calamity spilling all around me, and stuff that needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's literally not enough time. And it's not to say that I don't want to do all these things, because I sure do. But there's definitely, for sure, not enough time to do all these things. But they're definitely under consideration. Swami McGee's going totally all balls to the wall. Bernie Bro, Zio comes with Hitlery lips. Swami, what's up with the space bar on your thing? He says lips pretend to be anti-sports, anti-meat. Cute truth. Damn, dude, I have no idea what you're saying. Swampy McGee, May Day as good as labor as the last day of you. I don't know what it means, Swampy. Frequency navigation. Damn, Swampy's just going all out with it. Dang, dude. It's not even that I don't appreciate it. I appreciate all the contributions. I don't know what the hell you're saying. This is that naked Zio Kami on the... I don't know what the hell you're saying. Big Paul, his mother lived in San Antonio. What the hell are we talking about, you guys? I'm lost up in the comment section. I don't know what the hell we're talking... Oh, Rosendo Rodriguez? Oh, yeah. Dang it. If you're all out there, it's not even a point of bragging. In fact, it's the opposite of that. When I say, if you don't know about Central Texas and South Texas, you'll find some crazy MNFers who will do some stuff to you, dude. And just push them to that limit. Oh my gosh, dude. Now I'm getting all sort of... Not only am I getting the comment section blown up, but I'm getting all sort of dang messages. Oh man. I don't even know from who. We gotta get to the bottom of this. But we're talking about that. Okay, so we're talking about San Antonio, for example. They will mess you up in all sort of different ways that they don't even understand. They'll go wild. They'll go so wild, and wild things happen. All right, and it's a good percentage of people, especially here, I can say, that will do that even with everyday normal life being so polite as it is. And I think that you would find it, and a lot of people say that about San Antonio, is that people are polite, I guess they'd say. Yes. Out in public and stuff, for the most part, people are polite sometimes, but you can find yourself in certain areas where it is just like, oh man, it's like a different world. And trust me, you could take certain bus rides, it'll take you to altogether a different world. And at the same time, even in the nice little world where everyone's polite, even still there's people walking around who do some wild, crazy stuff, right? So to look at, say, for example, Alex Jones and say, oh, well, he's messed up for saying it. Well, yeah, it's kind of like how Kanye is messed up for saying it. They said it, but meanwhile, that's what's pumping through people's veins and stuff. And man, it's like really like a time bomb. Anyways, Technocratic Terror Team Lip Inc. hates when you think. Oh man, I gotta plug this in for battery. Hold on. Oh shoot. Tripped over a bag of sand, man. Alright, we're actually running out of time because For example, when we get out of here, I had to desperately, as quick as I can, figure out how to get ready for work where I actually make money. It's like that's how that's how desperately low on time we are. Right, but I do love touching base, and it is crucial, and we are coming across some sort of progress, I do believe, and we got a new contributor that is probably going to become one of our favorites, but at the same time, I don't know what the hell he's saying. It's technocratic, terror team, lip ink hates when you think, yeah, I bet you. I wouldn't doubt it. Swampy McGee, I have a feeling that you're exactly right about whatever you're saying, but I don't know what it is. San Diego loves drival clones and terror homes. I mean, these are well thought out. This is like poetry. It's not like you're saying gibberish. I mean, if you were saying gibberish, I would blow you off and stuff, but you're not. General Shepard, somebody killed a bar girl in Angeles City years ago at the American Hotel. He cut her up and put her in suitcases. Is that what you wanted to call me about? Oh, jeez. I don't know how we stumbled so hard down this rabbit hole, but we did. I mean, I already had like an idea that I might do it, but I wasn't sure if I would do it. But now y'all are telling me all sort of these stories. They never caught him. Okay, what I can guarantee you, coming from South Texas, is I don't know about all around the world, but I'm sure it is. Many people, many people have been cut up and disappeared and cut up and stuffed into suitcases and long been forgotten about. That's the world that, I mean, that is what happens. That does happen. Typically, when I have, say, for example, illegal immigrants around here, not by the citizens, but by what do you call the coyotes and this and that, get cut up. But that's not only that. People do get cut up, dude. All this wild and crazy stuff. So that's like people didn't want to wrap their heads around the fact is that this is the kind of stuff that happens, and that we're basically asking for it. It's like we've nurtured a society in which that's an organic offshoot of what takes place in society. By all means, cutting people up and stuffing them in suitcases is a natural act. And it's not to say that I do it. I don't want to do that. I hope I never do that. But it is a very natural act, unfortunately. And that's what's crazy. It's like, the natural will occur. And so if you deny the nature of it, if you're denying nature and in fact science, then you're never going to know about these things that happen. And in fact, these things might happen to you, all right, before you know it. So they never caught him as far as the guy who chopped up the people. Okay. Gosh, we are running out of time, but I come to think of one story that I can share with y'all before we get out here. We didn't even do a news blitz. I don't know that it would be even, I don't know that it would be beneficial to even do a news blitz. But Swampy McGee says this, and I want to get to the bottom of this. Frequency navigation, 5G, harm squad, proud to be a Pentagon harm squad. Uh, I imagine the lack of spaces is to put out the robots so that they can't tell what you're saying. But maybe they can anyways. Contact tracing crew wants to drain blood from you. These are very good. Oh man, this is so good. Then always future tell you what to do. That's crazy. Swampy McGee says Jacqueline RS. Swampy McGee is a bot. Oh man. Uh, I don't know. I don't know what's being said. Okay, so Big Paul says there was a man and a woman in my town called the Moors murderers. They were evil, and they were child serial killers, and a couple of kids they killed are buried in the same cemetery as my mom. That's not good, but that touches close to home. Thank you, Big Paul. Thank you, because that'll let you know it touched. I mean, it's happening everywhere. And I want to point out this before we get into the story, and I'm going to have to find it, I think. I'm going to have to find it, but I think I will be able to find it. I want to share it with you because it's wild. And I don't know that it's even real. It could be real or fake, but the thing is, stuff like this definitely happens, so it's worth consideration. That's why everything is worth consideration. To just jump into a thing and think, oh, it's fake, well, all this crazy wild stuff happens, so I don't know that it's fake. Because look, all this crazy stuff happens. All right? But I want to point out something. sometimes when you bring up satanic ritual abuse, right? Which I don't know if you can even say that on YouTube. People will be like, "Oh, what do you mean back in the '90s when they had those things and then whatever?" And they said on the TV that, but that hasn't happened since. Oh, oh, really? That's what's nuts. Some people think satanic ritual abuse is something that happened one time and does not happen anymore. No, that's king, buddy. That's what we're dealing with. All right. Whether or not people know that they're even participating in it, satanic. It's very satanic. Okay. And it overcomes people and overwhelms people. And what it causes is wild, unbelievable things that you don't want to believe to happen. Right. And so that being said, okay, here's a very good thing to take away. They're about to, and when I say they, I think you know what I'm talking about. They're about to plot to do all sort of terrorist activity, and when they do, they're gonna point at supposed white supremacists, far right. You people with them. Ooh, you people. With the messages. Okay. What I was saying is they're going to implicate people and they're going to be, quote, far right, extremist nationalists, Christian patriotic, this and that, white cisgender male people of hatred. Okay? And I've already seen it documented. They've already behind the scenes documented and said, oh, these people, not only are they child exploiters, in which you'll find them when they're set up and framed, they'll be framed with like one or two pictures. Meanwhile, all these dirty perverts have whole megabytes and terabytes of these pictures. All right, so when you get framed up, you could tell because you only have one or two of those supposed pictures. All right, so not only are they going to do that, but they also say, well, you know, these white supremacist Nazi far right extremists, they're also dabbling in Satanism. And they've already done that. I mean, if you've seen their publications, they're like, oh, yeah, now they're dabbling in Satanism. Oh, yeah, well, no, I thought Satanism didn't exist. All right? Try not to get distracted by a million damn messages. But here's the thing, Satanism never went away. And that's the thing to focus on 100% of the time. If you were focused on the right things, it would be Satanism 100% of the time and nothing else. And they want us to focus on everything else. Everything else. Meanwhile, all this stuff is wild and it's crazy, and it does happen. They want to tell us we're wild and crazy for thinking it. Here, I'll show y'all real quick, but we do have to get out of here. But they say, oh, we're wild and crazy for thinking about it, but it actually is everywhere we freaking look. Let me show you a screenshot real quick, and I think we might want to check out the article before we get out of here. I remember looking at it before I went to sleep earlier. All right, and this one caught my eye. Now, here's the thing. This could be all the way fake. Now, the wild things that take place in this article, and we're going to read through it a little bit. The wild things that take place are absolutely possible, and whether or not they happen in this instance, I know in my bones that these things have happened. So let's say that this is fake and made up. Regardless, this has happened. I know it. It has happened, and far be it from me to say it's happened just once. I know it's happened a lot of times, right? However, they're just talking about it this once. How real is it? I haven't researched. But as wild as it sounds, I think it'll give us a little insight before we get out of here. Woman bit schoolboy and threatened to mutilate the genitalia. All right, Shanna Shakespeare, and it's not very old, but it's not breaking. Shanna Shakespeare subjected a boy to a 20-minute ordeal as he sat helplessly. And I want to just imagine this as we get out of here. I don't know that this is real, but it's done by Ted Davenport, and we check it out. We're gonna have to Google it. Women bit schoolboy. Woman bit a schoolboy. I don't know how many keywords we're gonna have to use, but we're gonna find this article, which is gonna prove to be crucial. All right, and I want to see just how recent it is. I don't remember exactly. Woman bit schoolboy. All right, and it's not what some people would want it to be. All right, it's actually a it's totally different. In fact, all of that's disgusting. But a woman bit schoolboy and threatened to mutilate the genitalia, done by Devin Live, December the 27th. It seems like a lifetime ago, but 2019. Devin Live, and it was like, I guess it might have been picked up. I don't think it was picked up by anybody, right? Which would lead you to believe that perhaps, it's fake news. All right, but you're seeing all sort of weird stuff that pops up too. Girl 10 left with horrific bite marks as attacked on school bus. Dang, but because bite marks, dang, by who? It's like, what the hell? People are biting. This thing, biting is a natural occurrence. As much as I don't approve of it, biting is what happens. Girl with Down syndrome, 8, comes home with 6 bite marks. Dang, see, like, that's what I want to get you to know, man. I mean, that's just a little taste. Girl with special needs, 10 severely bruised. That's terrible. And that's between little children, I would imagine. But let's go into this article real quick as we get out of here. We ran out of time. But to wind it down, I want to let y'all know that I appreciate y'all. I'm going to check the comments before I get out of here. But we're going to wind it down with this. It's Ted Davenport. See if I can read the details to you right now. And I want to get at Ted Davenport. Are you making this up? How dare you make this up? What's the publication? It's called devonlive.com. I don't know. devonlive.com. How dare you make this up, all right? If you did, at the same time, I think we need to understand what's going on here. A young mother bit a 16-year-old schoolboy on the face and threatened to mutilate his genitalia during a 20-minute ordeal. Shanna Shakespeare, are these people being made up? But I want to let's read a little bit further. Shanna Shakespeare assaulted this boy in Bedford, and he's pleaded with her not to hurt him. She stamped on his knees and his chest and twisted his genitalia, threatened to cut off his. I mean, just what? And then do this sort of thing with a kung fu baton. All right. I mean, I hope that this is fake. All right. It's like people. I got to do more research on it just to make sure. But it's like people are naming this person. I don't know, they made up the person. They're naming the court. They're naming the town. Admitted assault causing actual bodily harm and was jailed for 12 months. Is this a person? I'm going to look into it. All right. But this is, I wanted to give you an example of the things and the weird satanic demons that could take over people. You know what I'm saying? At the drop of a hat sometimes. All these people who want to call us crazy, oh, like it never happens. Sometimes you can flip that switch on them and there's nothing holding them back. A neighbor was so shocked by the violence in the next door garden that she filmed part of the attack out of an upstairs window on her mobile phone, all right, because everybody's helpless. The footage shows Shakespeare circling around the kneeling boy and shouting abuse at him. What video? I mean, see, they're saying all these sort of things. If there's a video and there's documents and stuff, this can be cross-referenced. The boy suffered cuts on his face, a bite mark to the cheek. She bit him on the cheek. And he was heard begging, please don't hurt me. All right, this is regular, everyday, normal-ass people just flipping a switch and going all satanic. All right, and I think there was more to it and stuff, but you get the point, all right? That's wild. I'm not even sure. They didn't even explain why she did that. And perhaps that could even be fake news. But if you go down, like we were doing earlier, finding all sort of things about people biting, it's a satanic action to do, all right? Anyways, we're going to find a little bit more of that. I'm going to let y'all know what exactly we got going on in the future and stuff. But at the same time, I do got to focus here on this gardening real hard, real hard. And all this calamity spilling all out around us. And just a mountain of messages that I've been receiving during my live broadcast and no time else during my day have I been getting messages. And all right, so I got to deal with that. I appreciate the crap out of y'all, especially y'all up in the comment section. Y'all help me down. We got to talk about this in a more organized manner a little bit later. This broadcast did not go as clearly as I wanted it to, but I appreciate y'all, and I'll holler at y'all. It is May Day, and hopefully nothing terrible happens today, 2020.